All right, let's dive into something pretty critical for the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. We're looking at a source, specifically an article that really zeroes in on players from their 2023 draft class.
Yeah, and this piece, it really highlights kind of a pivotal moment for the team, wouldn't you say? I
Yeah.
mean, you look at that 4-13 record last season,
Oof. Yeah.
but the article suggests, on paper, there's actually a strong mix there. Youth, experience, talent.
Exactly. And the potential, this source argues, is definitely there for them to push for the postseason again. New head coach Liam Cohen, GM James Gladstone. But here's the catch the article lays out.
Right. For that potential to actually become reality,
Yeah.
a specific group really needs to step up significantly.
And that group is?
The players from that 2023 draft class, now entering their third year, which is pretty crucial in the NFL.
Super crucial. For some, the article implies this is maybe when they hit that ceiling people talked about.
Or for others, it's just, essential prove-it time. Show they belong, show they can contribute consistently.
Okay, so our mission here in this deep dive is to really pull out what this source says about who exactly from that 23 class needs to step up. Why them?
And what are the stakes, right? For them personally, but also for the team's whole season. What's a pressure cooker like for these young guys, according to this piece?
Let's unpack it. Where does the article start?
Okay, first up, it spotlights offensive tackle Anton Harrison, and it uses some pretty direct phrasing. Says he's on thin ice heading into the season.
Wow, on thin ice. That's intense. But the article doesn't totally write him off, does it?
No, it acknowledges improvements. Says he's gotten better each season, has the talent, definitely sees potential for him to be a cornerstone right tackle.
Why? There's always a but.
Always. The but here is inconsistency. That remains a big concern, according to the source.
And it brings stats to back that up.
It does. Points to last season, 4 sacks given up, 4 penalties, and 31 pressures allowed.
Okay, so pass pro numbers are noted. What else?
Well, the article seems particularly focused, or maybe concerned, about his run blocking. Calls it underwhelming. Specifically mentions hit and misses.
Okay, so it's not just about keeping the QB clean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The source really hammers this point. It says Harrison has to hone in as a more sufficient driver on the edge. And crucially, it says he needs to help create better rushing lanes for his running backs.
Gotcha. So becoming a more complete blocker is the mandate there.
That seems to be the takeaway from the source.
Yeah.
More force in the run game.
All right, so Harrison on the line. Does the article point to anyone else on offense needing a jump?
It does. Sticking with the offense, but moving to the backfield now.
Mm-hmm.
Running back Tank Bigsby.
Bigsby.
Yeah.
Okay. Former Auburn Tiger. How does the article frame him?
Describes him as someone who's steadily become a productive tailback, which sounds positive.
Yeah, and it gives his numbers from last year.
Yep. 158 carries, 766 yards, 7 touchdowns. And it does note he flashed workhorse ability and a shifty skill set. So the potential is visible.
But here comes the but again.
You guessed it. Just like Harrison, the core point the source makes about Bigsby is consistency, or the lack thereof. Needs more of it.
And the pressure on him seems pretty high based on what the article says.
Extremely high. The article uses this phrase. The Jaguars fired a warning shot across the bow when they drafted 2 running backs recently.
Whoa, warning shot. That paints a picture.
It really does. And the article spells out the implication. It is now or never for Bigsby. Plain and simple.
And does it say what needs to improve beyond just consistency?
It's specific, yeah. It says his vision and decision-making must improve this season. So it's about the mental side, reading the blocks, making the right cut.
Interesting. So less about the physical tools, more about the processing. Okay. Harrison Bigsby, who's the third player the source highlights. Defense this time.
Yep. Flips to the defensive side. Safety Antonio Johnson.
And let me guess. Now or never.
Bingo. The article uses that exact same phrase again. It says the team's offseason additions made it perfectly clear.
So similar urgency for Johnson.
Yeah.
What's his profile according to the source? Talented guy from Texas A&M.
Right. Talented and versatile. The article notes he can play deep post, down in the box, or as a split defender. Lots of flexibility there.
And he's shown some things already.
Definitely. His coverage ability has flashed, the article says.
Yeah.
Mentions 2 picks as a rookie, plus solid against the run side, 73 tackles last season.
Okay. Sounds promising. So what's the challenge? Why the now or never tag?
Competition. Simple as that, according to the source. It names Eric Murray and Caleb Ransaw specifically as guys who could pose a challenge for Johnson to see the field on a consistent basis.
Ah, okay. So he's got the talent, flashed the potential, but now he's got to really earn those snaps against new competition.
Precisely. That's the crux of it. But the article does offer a path forward. It suggests a strong training camp, good regular season performance.
And then?
Then, his versatility could set him up as a defensive chess piece on the back end, something the source thinks the DC, Anthony Campanile, could envision for him.
A defensive chess piece. I like the sound of that. So the potential is there to carve out a really valuable role.
If he seizes the opportunity, yeah, that's the takeaway.
So stepping back, Harrison, Bigsby, Johnson, the article focuses on them, but it seems like part of a bigger picture for that draft class.
Absolutely. The source emphasizes this is a big year for that whole 2023 group.
And the performance of these three specifically is tied directly to the team's overall goals.
That's the argument the source makes, yes. Their step up, or lack thereof, is critical if the Jags want to reach that potential the article mentioned earlier, pushing for the postseason.
Makes sense. Better run blocking from Harrison, a more consistent ground game with Bigsby stepping up, more defensive versatility and playmaking from Johnson.
Right. Each individual improvement directly impacts a key area for the team, according to this analysis.
So focusing on these three, based on this source, really gives you a clear idea of some major hinge points for the Jaguars this season. Their success could really swing things.
Yeah, their individual stories, as told by this article, have pretty significant team-level implications.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up based on this specific Yardbarker article, we've looked at three key guys from the Jags 23 draft class: Anton Harrison, Tank Bigsby, Antonio Johnson, all facing what the source calls a now or never season.
We saw where the article credits them with showing promise, the talent flashes, the production bursts, the potential roles.
But also where the source demands improvement. Harrison needing more consistent power, especially in the run game. Bigsby needing better vision and decision-making. Johnson needing to lock down playing time amidst competition.
And the really fascinating thread running through the article is how their individual progress is linked so directly to the team's bigger ambition of getting back to the playoffs. It's not just about them.
It really isn't. Which leads to a final thought, based purely on what we've discussed from this source material. For you listening, considering the specific pressures and the areas needing improvement for Harrison, Bigsby, and Johnson, whose individual step up do you think is the most crucial for the Jaguars finding success this season, and why? Something to chew on.